Good morning. Hope you guys doing well, and welcome to today's market update. It's January 3rd, 2020, and it's 9:37 a.m. in London when we're doing this market update. Having some interesting market volatility today. The dollar is coming back. Dollar South African rand, I think, is up almost 2%. German DAX down 1.75% today as we speak, and other markets as well are lower. So it's interesting activity today, and it also centers around the news that the U.S. Killed an Iranian general, which was in control or managing a lot of the foreign strategies that Iran is applying, proxy wars and so on, according to the Pentagon. And this general was in Iraq, and he was actually killed by a U.S. missile. And Iran, of course, has said that they're going to get their revenge. And this is causing crude oil to spike, gold prices, gold prices to gain as well, and dollars again as well. So we're having what we call a classic risk off. We have an article about that as well. You can read here, written by the team. Gets you a little bit more of input to why this matters for the market. Here is, let me see here, press the wrong button now. Here is the button or the article for that. Let's focus a bit on the technicals. I will begin with the DAX today. So the DAX is declining sharply here as the market started. Already yesterday midnight when the news was out, it was coming down, and then it continued to trade downwards. As you know, my view on the DAX is to remain bullish, and what I do is that I continue to be bullish until proven otherwise. And back in December 19th, I said look to buy here for the market to go upwards, which it did, and then it went back, and then it gained nicely with about 2%, and now it's back into the buy zone. If you notice any difference here compared with the outlook that I shared with you guys yesterday, then it is that the trend of funding level has been reduced. But for now, I'm going to continue to be bullish, and let's see what happens here. If anything happens on the back of these comments, like we had that big attack on Saudi crude oil production just recently in the fourth quarter of 2019, and that didn't last long. So I'm not sure this is gonna last either, to be honest. I read on the BBC there was some security specialist or so, that said that this general was more influential than Osama bin Laden, and he had a play and all these different proxy wars that Iran has been having, and US of course has a bunch of proxy wars. We have proxy wars since long time, right? And I think it will continue on both sides. That I don't necessarily think there's going to be a direct confrontation. It's not to anyone's benefit. In fact, proxy wars is really the way things have been playing out or so for the last 40-50 years or so. I think that's probably gonna continue. So I don't think this is gonna necessarily escalate. I mean, it's not that they attacked and killed the general in Iran. That would be very different. He was in Iraq, and that, of course, is a bit different than if he was in Iran. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, the market now is under pressure, is coming back down here. When these events happen, and as you're like really committed, there's no real need to actually buy at the first touch. But this is where one could buy if you wanted to buy, and this could eventually go upwards. Something that I do like, and that we talked about yesterday, and I did an article on that as well here on Investing Cube. If you click on authors, you'll find my name up here. Click on my name, and then you can see here today's dollar yen slide might resume tomorrow. Watch December low. So what happened here yesterday and the dollar yen is that we're trading within a range, and this is some sort of a rectangle, and the market did slid below the low. And as you know, the dollar's been under pressure even before today's events. So I said in the article, if we trade below the low here, we'll probably go down to the rectangle pattern target at 107. So this, of course, got further fuel on the back of the events overnight. And you can see how, the market, if I click on a 1 hour, we had that slide and we went up, and then around 1 a.m. we got that sell off, and now we're in a bit of profit here if you shorted on the back of this. So if we swing back up here to 108.25 or so, I think people are going to be selling here, and we could potentially see this rectangle target to be reached. It might go down to 107 over the next few weeks. So this is interesting. As for the euro versus the dollar, the market is coming down. We talked about it yesterday that down here it makes sense to buy, and obviously when we were looking at this a few days ago at the highs, and it feels like, well, it's never gonna come down. But look, hey, we're now pretty much at that level more or less. That spot is 111.39. I don't think this market will have bounced right now at this time of the day. I think when the US traders joins, they're gonna probably sell a bit more, go down a little bit, and then maybe bounce properly on Monday. GBP versus the USD as well. I'm bullish here, and the idea is to buy on a dip. This is the first fib level, which is 61.8. And from here potentially people are going to be buying. You can see here, just look at these candles, they're pretty much all blue, so bearish in my case, and don't want to really buying right now. It's 9:44 a.m. in the morning. The market does not change its mind after it made up its mind. So usually when you start to see the sell-off here, so you see 7 a.m., that will usually continue until about 3 p.m. London time. Going along here, let's take a look at crude. So crude, obviously spiked, and we're actually above those highs here from on this crude on the drone attacks on Saudi crude oil. Remember, the U.S. and Saudi did say that Iran were the mastermind behind these attacks, and so this is the tensions they have been brewing, and this is really what the market is reacting on today, and it's been quiet. You have the other situations go with North Korea, where things were really, really good at one point between Kim Jong-un, the leader of the North Korean Republic, and then you have North Korea, and then you have a situation now where things are not as great between North Korea and the U.S., and where they promised changes from the North Korean side. So maybe we start to see some tests of these missiles again. So things obviously suddenly gets in a very different light. And the markets, the way they are, a bit mano-depressive in a way that they're either really bullish, and everybody's super excited, and then the market goes up and up and up and up. And then you have a few events like this, and suddenly everybody sort of gets a bit scared. And that's exactly what you're seeing in the German DAX today. Now, in crude oil prices, I have been waiting to sort of get involved on a correction, as you know, down here. I've been sharing a few bullish setups with you over the last few months, and most of them worked out fine. Then the idea has been for this to go back, but obviously I have no crystal ball or insight to the Pentagon. Otherwise I would have bought some crude oil and told you guys to buy yesterday. But yeah, that attack happened and the market went up quite a bit. And this is always a challenge, when you need to chase the market, because that's what we're doing here. So what I'm doing here is that I lowered that trend funding level quite a bit to this level down here, which is 59.95. And we might go up, and we will up, and if we go back, that could be something. And what you want to see is you want to see correction and then a swift bounce to the upside. The last thing you want to see is a full sort of reversal candle where it looks like a false move, because if you do have a false move, then a break to something like 60 57 would probably mark a reversal from this big range and break here, and we'll go back to 56, 52 eventually. So what you don't want to see, you don't want to see a candle. Let's see if I can find one now. So this would be the bullish equivalent to some extent. Just imagine the same, just flip it around and turn it bullish. So you can find something here. I can't find nothing really straightforward here to show you. This, for example, this would even be more bearish. This candle here, because you can see the market was up here, bullish breakout. Then by the end of the day, it closes bearish. This as well, it's an alternative. So what's up here and then closed bearish. So if you want to get involved here, you can do that with the short term. You just need to make sure that you can't really make sure. If the candle closes bearish, then you could take action. And the general idea is just let it go down and then go upwards. Here's gold, and we're doing something similar here as well. As you know, we turned bullish here, but this market has been going up and up and up. And now you have a situation where you have tensions increasing in the Middle East, and there's not so much we can do about it. You know, we can try to buy on a dip, and that's what we're probably gonna try to do. So I reduced trend funding level to 15.06. You can see that this is probably the part. I think we can even reduce trend funding level a bit more. So this is the part, and this is the final bull leg of this move. And I'm not sure we're gonna come all the way down to here today, but look at this. This is Euro versus the USD, and it was very, very bullish. I wasn't really sure we were gonna come back all the way down here, but we are coming back. So I'm gonna stick with the same view here, even though obviously and clearly right now it's really bullish, and I reckon it's gonna try to go up to 15.55 and try to knock out some stop loss orders, and then we'll see what happens. And I think that's it. Yes, your stock markets. So this is the S&P 500. So if you've been waiting to buy it for a long, long time, well, today's the chance. The market, as you can see, is quite under pressure. Looking at this today, I reckon this can go down a little bit more. It might even try to spike people out. But as long as shit above 3212.4, which is a slow here from December 31st, this is a bullish market. If we take it out, it's probably gonna spike below it, and then it's probably gonna go back up again. And then if it reestablishes below here, it will probably go lower. So it's gonna be a bit like the dollar yen. I have a feeling that it goes down and then up. So out of all of this, what can we do? What's sort of interesting? I think dollar yen is interesting. We talked about that one yesterday. It's not that far away from its level. So I think if it does go back up again, I think this is something to work with. If you're a scalper and you know what you're doing, then you could potentially sort of scalp a bit of gold here. They're just that you need to know what you're doing, because your residual ratio is not going to be good. There are different strategies, right? One strategy is a bit like mine. You always try to have a good residual ratio, and then you get gains that are bigger than your average losses. And then there's other strategies where people just go in and grab a few pips, literally grab $1 or $2 on this. The problem is this, though: they can do that for a month or 2 or 3 months, maybe a year. But at one point, what happens is that they hold a big loss, which would wipe out weeks of gains. So it's a little bit what you prefer and what you can do. With the other thing as well, of course, sometimes you just effectively just close everything out. But there's no right or wrong here. All I know from my experience working with big brokers, and before joining Amana Capital, which is a relatively new broker here in Europe, I used to work for FXCM, which at the time was the world's biggest forex market, and we have hundreds of thousands of clients. And our research over there, looking at real trading accounts, is that the people that were profitable were the people that had average gains, was average a bit bigger than the average loss, and they were right about. They weren't right like 80% of the time. They were right maybe 45-50% of the time, something like that. And they took all the losses. On the other hand, there's quite a lot of statistics that shows if you grab a little bit, eventually the market does catch up, because usually what people do is trade with way too much leverage. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up unless you guys have any questions. pressed on the wrong button here, but it's nothing bad actually. Check this out, Online Trading Summit. So this is the Online Trading Summit. We hosted this on Saturday, November 30th, and you get all the videos. So if you try to click it here, what's going to happen is then going to say you need to register. So you just need to register here, and then you'll have access to this content. And if you are live, or you already have a membership like I have, just click on play. You won't find this online by searching because they are unlisted. Okay, let's see if you guys have any questions. So no questions, that's fine. That's the link, guys, to the Online Trading Summit. We have several speakers there, really good, and someone that did, I mean, they all impressed me, but I guess something that I resonated well with what I do was this presentation by Charlie Burton. And Charlie Burton, he's quite a famous guy. He's been on the BBC, and he had took a challenge actually to turn 10,000 into 100,000, and did that within 2 years. Glenn here is also a very famous guy, but he's gained in popularity because of the crypto boom we had. But even before that, he turned an account of £3,000 into 100,000 just because he was betting on a crash in 2008. So he did really good there. That's even a better percentage return than what Charlie did here. And then of course he was involved in crypto, and this is what he does. He just trades and writes book nowadays. So you can read all of this, hopefully maybe learn a few new strategies and so on. You just need to register, and then you have access to that content. Okay, we're gonna wrap things up, guys. Thanks so much for watching. I hope I helped you a bit with your trading. Don't forget to click up here, and don't forget to like the video. Really important. Have a great day, guys, and I'll see you guys on Monday for the next market update. Thank you, and bye bye. Cheers.